Hello, hope you're all doing well. Gonzo Senior is back to discuss that 5-0 thumping of Freiburg last night. We'll be taking a little look ahead to Aston Villa as well. Dan, how is oneself?
One is very, very happy. There's a slight frustration there. There were some things I didn't want to see going into the next round. I did not want to see Alvarez suspended. I did not want to see Paqueta suspended. I'm not sure what the Paqueta situation is. I know Alvarez is suspended, and it was so avoidable. I mean, we were 2 goals up. They were no threat. He should have been off. He should have gone off the same time as Paqueta, and then he wouldn't have got the booking. And happy days would have been okay. But I feel a bit churlish mentioning that, but it's an ongoing theme, isn't it? Moyes takes too long to make substitutions. Ridiculous again. We were 4-0 up in the 70 odd minutes, and he didn't make 3 substitutions until the 86th and 89th minute. It's stupid in my opinion.
Right, we'll get on to the positive things in a second, Dan. But I'm going to pick you up on the Alvarez substitution because I don't blame Moyes. I think I don't blame him for not taking him off, because had they scored another goal, had they got a goal, that it would have changed the landscape of the game completely. I think it's just stupidity from Alvarez, truth be told. I think Moyes should be able to trust any player to not do that when the player knows you get booked, you're missing the first leg of the quarterfinals. My blame lies entirely with Edson Alvarez for that one, I'm afraid.
The thing is, he's got form for it, isn't he? And he's not a teenager who's going to change. Leopard doesn't change his spots. He is. I think he's absolutely pivotal to us. And to me, Freiburg really, they're not a very good side. So once we went 2-0 up, where was the threat coming from? I mean, Fabianski was untroubled in the entire game, wasn't he?
Yeah, so, no, I do agree with all those things, and I agree that Alvarez does have form for it. I just think it's harsh to lay that blame at Moyes' door. I think, would I like to see him go off? Yeah, but I get why the manager left him on, and my frustration lies with Alvarez entirely, which is it's just stupid from him. Yeah. Quite frankly. However, we did win 5-0 though. Like you said, Freiburg weren't very good, but
we won 5-0, and the most positive thing was that although we didn't dominate possession, whenever we got the ball, we went to move forward, and we had attacked them with intent. And it's so nice to see that for a change. I can't remember the last time we did that early in the game, apart from Brentford. Is this going to be Moyes finally sniffing that we're so much better when we're attacking than sitting back? Our defence isn't good enough to sit back. But today we weren't exposed because their forward line, in my opinion, wasn't very good, and they didn't have anybody in midfield who could pick a pass in the way that Paqueta could, or Kudus could, or Bowen could, for that matter. Because our front four today, all of them were exceptionally good, in my opinion. And, their defence, I think, will be having nightmares today, and they'll be bloody glad they're not seeing us again. But how did we lose to that lot a week ago?
I don't know. I don't know. I completely agree with you. And you mentioned the front four there. Obviously, Michail Antonio returning to the starting 11. Were you impressed with his performance?
Absolutely. They could not deal with his physical presence. They couldn't deal with Kudus' speed, Paqueta's guile, and I thought Bowen had one of his best games for a very, very long time. Every time he got the ball, he looked like something was going to happen from it. And they all played as a team. I know could have scored, that sensational first goal of his. I mean, that really did bring a smile to the face, in the same way that Payet used to. He is a special player. I think Bowen's a special player. Paqueta's a special player, and Alvarez. So I think we have got 4 really, really top class players. And if they're all on the field, I think we can give virtually anybody a game.
I know he didn't play, hence why you wouldn't have mentioned him, but would you add Emerson and or Areola to that list of 4 being sort of, or are they in a different level to the 2 I've mentioned?
I think they're just below. They're just below, but and this season they've both played exceptionally well. Last season, I thought Emerson towards the end of the season played well, but the start of the season, he looked a bit suspect, and at times I thought maybe Cresswell should come back. But now, there's no doubt about it. Emerson is definitely our top left back, and as far as I'm concerned, Areola is absolutely our first choice goalkeeper. The number of saves he's made, I mean, the statistics are actually quite frightening. The number of shots we've faced in the Premier League is astonishing. It's only Sheffield United have faced more shots than we have. And, if we aren't leaking goals, the principal reason is always going to be that, the goalkeeper is outstanding.
Yeah. Right then, the draw. Now, some of you watching this will know who West Ham have in the quarterfinal, but myself and Dan are recording this late on Thursday evening to get up early Friday. Is there anyone you're hoping for, or is there anyone you're hoping to avoid when the draw takes place?
Well, before tonight, I would have said I'd really be fearing Leverkusen, because Leverkusen are so far ahead in the German league, you'd think that maybe they'd want to concentrate on this. But, Karabag, last time I saw it, they were drawing 4-4, 2-2 on the night and 4-4 overall. And Karabag are down to 10 men. If Karabag could beat Leverkusen, I'd be really, really happy.
I think I'll double check right this second. I think Leverkusen nicked it just at the death in the 90th minute, so they didn't even need an extra time. Yeah, they did. They scored in the 97th minute. So Patrick Schick scored a double and added on time to make it 3-2 on the night. So Leverkusen are in the quarterfinal.
Well, I would not fear them now as much as I would have done before.
Really? Okay.
Well, just because if Karabag can score 4 goals against them with if we've got our best team out, I'm not saying there'd be an easy team to play, but I'm just saying that maybe they're not paying as much attention to the Europa League as I thought they would be, particularly seeing as they seem to be running away with the Bundesliga. They've still got to play Bayern Munich another game in the Bundesliga, haven't they? So that could bring it down to 8 points that they're behind, but I can't see them throwing away that lead.
Yeah, the first leg, Leverkusen made a lot of changes to their side. Away at Karabag tonight, they fielded the first 11, so there was a change of attitude from Xabi Alonso, and arguably did the right thing because they only drew 2-2 away from home, but he was able to rest a lot of his players in order to do that. But I think because of the gap at the top of the Bundesliga, I think he'd almost be able to switch this to his priority. I think he'd be able to prioritize the Europa League over the Bundesliga games because of that buffer he's got.
Yeah.
And obviously Bayern Munich are still in the Champions League, so you'd imagine they'll be focusing on the Champions League, given that difference between themselves, because Tuchel's got to think about what's best for him now, and it's not trying to close a gap on Leverkusen, it's trying to win the Champions League and getting that on his CV. So Leverkusen and Liverpool are the 2 that frighten me, to be honest with you.
You can't think any other way. I mean, Milan by reputation are brilliant, but you look at AC Milan and how they're doing in the Serie A this year compared with Inter, and I think Inter are they're a very good side, but then I don't think they're brilliant. But maybe we'll find out different later on in the competition. But I mean, what are they? 15 points ahead?
Something like that. It's and they're first and second as well, but there is a massive gap over in Serie A at the minute. So.
Yeah, so Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen are the two that I'd worry about. I'd give us a fair chance against most of the rest, and some of the rest I'd be positively delighted to play against. Shame Rangers didn't make it.
Yeah, that would have been a big tie. Apologies for the clicking. I was just having a little look regarding Lucas Paqueta's card situation, as Dan mentioned. He's on 2 bookings, 3 cards equals suspension in the Europa League. So if he gets booked once more, he will get suspended. However, at the end of the quarterfinal stage, yellow cards are wiped, so that player cannot then be suspended for the final unless they get sent off in the semi-finals. So as long as he avoids a booking in the first leg, Paqueta will be fine for the quarterfinals. Regardless. Right then, Dan, taking a look at Sunday, Aston Villa. How are you feeling ahead of that one?
Well, buoyed by their result last weekend, because Tottenham really did them over, didn't they? And I think they'll have put quite a bit more effort into tonight than West Ham put in today. So I'm much more hopeful than I was 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, I'd have been dreading it. And like you said, I think I would have wanted Ajax very much to have at least taken Villa into extra time. And I was hoping that Ajax might actually beat Villa, because if they had beaten Villa, they would have been on a bit of a downer. The good side of Villa going through, of course, is that it helps our quotient in the Champions League and everything. So, maybe it will free up spaces if we don't win the Europa League. I think the chance of us winning, obviously, they're a lot better than they were this morning, but it's still a long shot.
Yeah.
Going back to Villa, though, it'll be interesting.
What would you do with the starting 11? Because obviously it's worked against Freiburg, have been the attacking forward on the pitch. Would you stick with that for the Aston Villa game, or would you make any changes to the starting 11?
I'd stick with it. Everybody's going off on an international break, I'd definitely go in with our best possible team, and Areola automatically comes back. If Emerson's fit, Emerson comes back. Not sure what to do about the centre halves. I still worry a lot about Zuma. And at some point or other, he is going to break down. We all know it. We'll all say "told you so" when it happens, but he keeps defying logic. And today he had a relatively easy game, didn't he? I don't remember him being put under any pressure. I don't remember him having to extend his knees at all when we all start praying. So, I'd probably stick with the side that we've been playing with, Souček and Alvarez in midfield and the 4 up front.
Souček's, would you agree if I said he was back in form recently over the last few games?
He seems to be more confident on the ball, and his passing does seem to have improved a bit. Maybe it's that when he's got the ball recently, he tends to be getting it when we're moving forward and people are retreating, as opposed to coming onto us. When people are coming onto us, I think he struggles. When we're going forward, I think his passing tends to be better. So that helps, and he was causing chaos in the Freiburg defence. Having said that, I think the Villa defence is... until last Sunday, I would have said Villa's defence was a lot better than Freiburg's, so maybe there's some hope there.
Right then, can I get a score prediction for you for Sunday? I'm going to put you on the spot now. West Ham, Aston Villa, what's your score prediction?
Depends on whether Watkins plays or not.
Okay, give me 2 score predictions then. One with Watkins and one without.
Watkins plays 2-2. Watkins doesn't play, 2-1 to us.
Ooh, I'll take that. I mean, I'll take a draw, to be honest with you. I think a draw would be a good result. Right, for a little bit of fun then, to wrap this one up, Dan, can I get any final words from yourself regarding the victory against Freiburg in the Europa League? And the fun part is your man of match, please. Good luck picking this one, because I think there's a few contenders, but who was the one you'd pick out?
Cool, dear, it is difficult, isn't it? I mean, the Kudus goal was just sensational. So I think I've got to give it to him, but I definitely give both Antonio and Bowen glowing praise for both of their performances. I think Bowen's might have been underlooked, and I'm so pleased that Southgate's picked him in the England squad, because I think his play this season has totally merited it. I think he has become. He's a bit like Declan Rice. I think every season he improves, and his play with his right foot in particular this season. When he's attacking down the right side now, people are very aware that he can and will go past them and cross with his right, whereas 2 seasons ago he rarely did it, and so he's obviously been working on it. And he's still playing his heart out at the end of the game. Again, he should have been substituted when he took that knock to his shoulder. Why'd you leave him on after that? It's just, to me, it was a big risk. But yeah. Kudus, man of the match, and happy days.
I can agree with your subs, by the way, regarding Bowen and Kudus that going off. I can agree with that last bunch of 3 subs being too late. I can agree with that one. It's the Alvarez one specifically that I can't quite lay at the doorstep of the manager. I laid that one at Edson Alvarez. Last question then, because it got me thinking when you were talking. Jarrod Bowen has to remain on the right now. Is that something that you would?
Oh, I definitely prefer him on the right. Yeah, without a doubt. I actually think the best thing would be for the 3 front players, Kudus, Antonio, and Bowen. I'd be quite happy for them all to interchange, because I think Antonio is good down either wing. And I like Kudus moving about the place in the same way that I like Paqueta. I want us to be a more total football side in that sort of sense. We're too regimented. We're too predictable. And that was one of the good things about today. We didn't do what we usually did, and wait for 20 minutes to start attacking them. We went for them right from the start, and I definitely prefer that. So yeah, I'd definitely keep Bowen on the right, but I would love to see him move across and interchange with either of any of the front 3.
Perfect. Well, Dan,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, leave Bowen on the right now. I mean, I was okay with the experiment, and I think while Antonio was out, I struggled to see what else we could do. And if Antonio was be injured again, I would still struggle to see what else we could do. I think someone would have to go through the middle out of our attacking midfield 3, because Ings did well against Burnley, but playing up front on your own is a completely different requirement altogether. But Bama, he had bits, he had glimpses, but he didn't show anything in those periods that he got. So I think the options would be Kudus, Paqueta, or Bowen to go up front. I'm not sure. I do prefer Bowen. I think Bowen's better on the right than Kudus is. So I think I'd maybe, if Antonio broke down again and he was unavailable for Sunday, I think I'd probably chance Paqueta, either Paqueta through the middle and leave Kudus on the left, or Kudus down the middle and leave Paqueta on the left. But I'd leave Jarrod Bowen out on that right-hand side, because it's by far his best position. I think the experiment was worth trying.
Yeah.
And I think Bowen's probably learned a lot having that period as a striker. I think he's probably added things to his game that we might see him using while playing out on the right-hand side. But I think it's sort of experiment over for me. Let's leave Jarrod Bowen out on the right, because he's just a hell of a different player out there, and he's better running at left backs one-on-one. I think we've seen it. Yeah, that Freiburg left back, who's a really good left back, by the way. Gunter's a good left back. Bowen had him on toast for 90 minutes, and I don't think Kudus did that to Gunter in Germany, whereas Bowen did it at the London Stadium. So I would like to leave Bowen.
Yeah.
Well,
One other thing before we go. So pleased to see Earthy come on.
Yeah.
So pleased. I have been waiting for some of that youth team to get their chance, and I just wish he'd had 15 minutes instead of 3 or 4. But you know, what a lovely time to come on. Just shame he didn't have a bit more time. Let's hope it's the first of many appearances.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Dan. Thank you guys for joining us at home as well. If you've enjoyed the video, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel, and Gonzo will catch up with you in a couple of days' time. We'll see you soon.